Uh, hey guys, it is 1:30 a.m. Um, sorry. Okay, I'm really trying to get my head in the right space. I've been having problems with that, but I don't really want to talk too much about my mental state because it's not good. But aside from that, so those of you who know me personally know I have been a pretty avid um, believer in. I don't appreciate Nintendo's business practices. I still have a problem with it, especially when they were out there demonetizing content creators and trying to like get part of their revenue and all this other stuff. I don't like that. But in light of a couple of things, one main one is I've been wanting something to do like I want to be able to play something in bed, and I recently got a PlayStation 5, but and we even upgraded the TV in the bedroom. I just like the spot. My side of the room is just really hard to justify. I can't get comfortable like playing while I'm laying down. It's really hard, and my computer chair is about as good as I'm gonna get, but it still wreaks havoc on my tailbone. In a lot of pain from that. As I lose weight, I'm sure that'll go away, but right now it's not making any real progress. So was thinking, I was like, well, I can just get the Switch because I can play it in bed and that'll be fine. Um, so I got the Switch, and I haven't owned a Nintendo console since GameCube. I had a 3DS for a very short time, but I had a GameCube for a while. Um, there's only one reason I bought GameCube, and that was for Resident Evil. Like, because back then they had Resident Evil 4 was a GameCube exclusive, so were the Resident Evil remake and Resident Evil Zero. I literally picked it up at a pawn shop for like nothing, and that's the only thing I ever played on it. Never played anything else on it. Well, no, I take that back. I finished Tales of Symphonia, I think. Um, I really loved Super Nintendo. I didn't like 64, and I didn't like anything after. Um, the the Switch was interesting to me, but I still was really upset with the way Nintendo, and I still am to a degree. Um, I they're like out in left field with it when it comes to their consoles. I mean the Switch can't go over 1080p, and I know that the target audience for that system isn't necessarily the people who are playing it on their TV, but there are people playing it on their TVs. I get that in handheld mode you're not gonna really see that. I mean you're gonna be playing in 720p, maybe 900 if you're lucky. But yeah, it was interesting. But I will say I do enjoy, and this may be divisive, but I do like that there's no achievements in these games. And I say that because as somebody who is very, not necessarily in World of Warcraft, but I am this way in other games. I always want to get all the achievements, even if I never do. I think about it. There's games that I've literally replayed for the pure reason, not that the game was good, not that, not at all, but just because I wanted to finish all the achievements. Long after I've beaten the game on its hardest difficulty, long after that, I'll still just grind away at it and grind away at it to unlock you. I did it with the Resident Evil 3 remake. I had already beaten the game on the hardest difficulty. I had already done all that shit. I was literally just going through the game, killing enemies with a specific weapon, so I could unlock the trophy and get the platinum. And I understand that not every gamer is like that. And some of you may want some sort of trophy system or achievement system. I'm just not. I don't like it. It's one of the reasons that I don't like console gaming as much anymore, because it really messes me up, especially in games that are like RPGs that have these insane achievements in there. Like, oh my god, like I'm trying to think of an example. Um, I don't know, like take Final Fantasy X remaster. Like they have some really crazy ones. I mean, stuff that you can do, and you is part of unlocking all the weapons in the game, but it's like a ridiculous goal to hit. I mean, just an absolute nightmare of an achievement. Or the ones that they have online modes that die off. Like, good example of that would be like Batman Arkham Origins. Only plays that online mode. If you wanted to unlock the achievements in that system, you'd have to find like 15 other people to try to log into it and to do it. Let alone be good enough to rank up. Like it's crazy to me. Like why they do that. I'm just not a fan. So that's definitely one plus. I gotta say that the screen on this thing is. I don't like the screen. It's too. I don't know if it's because I'm older now or what, but this screen is small. Like it's certain games, man. It is really hard to see. Like I don't understand how you could play it not docked. For real, I don't understand that. But I mean, all three of the consoles, they're targeted to different people for sure. Like you have the busier, or I have like a real life friend who just has a lot of kids, and it's easier for him to play mobile when he's sitting in his living room talking to his kids or whatever. It's easier for him to just put the Switch down, stop what he's doing, and then pick it back up when he's ready to play again. And I understand that. I do. That's not the kind of gamer I am, but it is the one he is, and I don't fucking care if that's how you gotta play. That's how you gotta fucking play. That's just the way it is. At least you're playing something. You're making time for yourself or something. But that does leave a dilemma for me. Now, I ended up buying the Switch Lite because they didn't have the regular ones in the store, and I wasn't about to wait. But the screen is causing such a problem when I'm in their bedroom. I can just pop in a different game. Like they have these old Super Nintendo games on there or some shit. I can just play that or something that I can see consistently. But like trying to play the new Fire Emblem game is ridiculous. I can't see anything on the screen. I can't read the text without like glaring down on my phone or my Switch. I mean, I literally have to play like that close to it and shit, like to read the screen. It's bad. It might be a sign that I need glasses. I don't know. It's possible. Getting older, so I wouldn't doubt it. But I mean, I don't have trouble when I'm playing computer games or PS5 games or whatever. So initially, what I was going to do is because I ordered the regular Switch from GameStop, and I ordered that and Zelda Breath of the Wild, and a game like Breath of the Wild. If it's anything like Horizon, I need it on a screen, a monitor. I can't play it on a small, like, I don't even know the dimension on the screen. It's not big, that's for sure. But it definitely feels a little bit bigger maybe than the PlayStation Vita. But I couldn't imagine playing a game with that much to pay attention to on a little tiny screen. So I did really enjoy Horizon, and I have enjoyed the Zelda series throughout the years. I haven't played any of them since Ocarina of Time. But I did enjoy that one. That was a lot of fun. So, when I picked up the Switch, I ended up buying Pokemon Sword, and I haven't played a Pokemon game since Red and Blue. That was fun, a little too easy, and they made it really. I mean, I get why they did it, but they just made it really campy and like kid friendly. But I know that's their demographic, so that's who's buying their games nowadays. They're like little kids. Just as an adult with two boys that are not like that, it was a little like, oh, this is kind of dumb, but it was the story was dumb, but it's fucking Pokemon. All stories are literally the same, outside of like some outstanding threat that they put in these games. But it was fun nonetheless, and I enjoyed it. Not incredibly long. I think I ended the game with like a party of like average level was like in the 70s. It was like 72, 73. Like I had a Gyarados at like 94 or 93 or something. And I didn't need to really switch Pokemon at the end of the game. Even if they were like weak or strong against my element, I always had a different elemental attack on them, so it didn't even matter. So it wasn't all that crazy. I didn't get the DLC because I don't think it's worth the money, and I didn't get I didn't do the super battle tower thing that they have, but I finished the game. Finished all the story elements. Got the legendary Pokemon that you're chasing, and it was 25 hours, 26 hours, I think a little under 30 hours. In retrospect to other RPGs, that's pretty standard. It's pretty normal. I think that in a lot of the games, without doing every single ounce of content, you can probably do the same thing. 25, 26, between 25 and 30 hours, you can probably finish most action-based RPGs. Or I wouldn't say the Final Fantasy series. If you want to unlock even some of the stuff, it's going to take you a lot longer. Especially, like Final Fantasy 12 or Final Fantasy 15 were pretty sprawling as far as content goes. So like review wise, it's a decent system. I mean, it's definitely the most underpowered out of all, even compared to the PS4 and Xbox One. They is like massively underpowered. It can't even. I mean, the highest resolution you're going to get on this thing, even docked, is 1080p, which is fine for the majority of people who play the system. They're not playing it for I want to have 4K or whatever. And who knows, they might. Nintendo said they're but Nintendo says a lot of things. They might go ahead and release um, a new version of it that does play in 4K, but I don't see their target audience going out of their way to buy something like that. You'll get some people for sure, but I mean, you're asking someone like, "Hey, I want you to buy this new console that we've already released in a 4K version for and if they're gonna have to make it, you're going to give it a stronger GPU. They're gonna have to, and then how do they justify the non-docked version of it? Like, it's not going to be able to display that unless they put new CPU and GPUs in the handheld. It's I don't know. I don't know how they could do it reasonably, where it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. I mean, people aren't going to want to pay $500 for $500. Then you can get a PS5. Well, allegedly. So I don't know. I don't necessarily know that it'd be a good idea, but who knows? God, who knows? Could be anything at this point. So yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video because I haven't uploaded in a few weeks, but we're getting ready to start Dungeons and Dragons hopefully soon. That'll be a lot of fun. If you guys haven't noticed, like any of you, you can start filing your taxes now, and they will start accepting them on my birthday, which is February 12th. Taxes. So I know not everybody has kids. I do. I have two. The child tax credit went up this year, which is surprising because we're getting back like 8,000 and change, like 8,200 or something, and I was expecting it to be more in the realm of 5 or 6 ish, because I thought Trump like really changed the tax rules and stuff. Apparently, he increased some stuff. I had no idea. I thought he was just looking out for top 1%ers. I mean, he is. He was. He did a lot for him. But I think that this part, well, that's not bad. I'm not too upset about it. And then next year it's going to go up even more. So Biden's already preparing for that year. So for those of you who don't have kids, without claiming you had a household, you get $2,000 tax credit per child. But next year they're talking about increasing that number to $3,600. And if you claim you had a household, then you get another tax break. So that's usually how you hear all these crazy stories about how, oh my God, this couple has like 4 kids and they fucking got like 8-9 grand or some shit like that. And we do get a lot of money, but kids are expensive. Tell you right now, so it don't even matter. Trust me on that. Even R2 are fucking expensive. But when I ordered the regular Switch, and I ordered a Pro controller, and I ordered Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's weird because now I have a PS5, a Switch, my PC, which is almost as good as it's going to get for years. I mean, there's very little I could do to upgrade. I mean, I could put a 3090 instead of a 3080, but I haven't had a single graphical issue yet. Not one. Not an overheating problem, not running anything I want at max settings. I may not break the 144 hertz, blah, 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 but I'm still getting at least 80 to 90. I can't complain. I have ray tracing maxed out on WoW and settings all the way up, and in raids I'm still getting 200 plus. So if the raid size goes up to 30, which is the max, which doesn't happen that often, if it does do that, I'm dipping down to like 120, but it doesn't do that very often. Okay. Speaking of WoW, so we have BlizzCon coming up. A lot of people are expecting some obvious announcements. We're expecting a Diablo 4 trailer / announcement. I'm sure we'll get that. I am expecting something to do with the Burning Crusade servers. In retail WoW, I've been having a lot of problems with guilds and stuff. I'm fucking convinced that I'm cursed. Like, not joking here. So I had a friend who I had been friends with for over a year, and she's like, "Oh, we need a balanced druid," and I was like, "All right, cool. What are your raid times?" And she tells me, I'm like, "All right, tell me about the raid team." She's like, "Oh yeah, everything's good. We're making good progress." Blah blah. I get in there, and of course, they're letting this like piece of crap hunter just not do anything, getting just straight full carried when they're dying on bosses repeatedly. I mean, just dying over and over and over and over. Just stupid shit. Not standing in a certain spot. Not doing this, not doing that. It's like, I know that people have to learn, but I'm not in the business of spending all of my game time, because WoW requires a lot of time. It's not just a raiding time. I have to get on and do Mythic Plus every week, help other people do their Mythic Plus every week, make sure I have enough gold to, I've been actually selling gold in game for a while, but like all this stuff, like it's probably like 20-30 hours a week in World of Warcraft. I could be spending that time doing other shit, and I wasn't logging on to raids to stare and like cater to someone because the guild leader doesn't want to say anything to him. So I messaged the guild leader several times, and several times she jumped down my throat about it. Like, and this is someone that I was friends with, like, talked to, like, not every week, but we talked quite a bit. And, like, I was floored. Because half the raid were doing well. Their logs looked good, everything was going well. But nobody ever wanted to do any Mythic Plus, so I was still plugging Mythic Plus, which is something, like, totally defeats the purpose of having a fucking guild. You know, like still pugging Mythic Plus, still doing all this stuff. I mean, it was exhausting. So I mean, after like the fifth time of her basically calling me an elitist, which I'm not. I just want everybody to be held to the same standard. Apparently, that's wrong. I was like, okay, well, that, I told them, I said, hey, I'm gonna move on, but I'm gonna give you guys a few weeks so you can, find my replacement and stuff. I'm outside, ready to raid, have all my shit. And what do they do? Message me like, oh, we don't need you. It's like, oh my god, thanks for fucking telling me, like, I don't know, you could have told me like 6 hours ago. So I was like, whatever. So then I just left the guild right then. I was like, okay, bye. Have a good day. Life goes on. So then found another guild in trade chat. Talked to him for a while. I was like, oh, this seems okay. And they're much better. I mean, progression wise, they had almost cleared the raid. They were at like 11 of or 9 of 10, which is pretty damn good, and definitely a lot more skilled than the previous group. But the raid leader doesn't actually lead the raid. Which I was like, okay. Like they had people in there that didn't know the heroic mechanics exactly, and nobody bothered to say anything until they fucked it up, and they're like, hey, why'd you do that? It's like, well, obviously I didn't know what the fuck I was doing because nobody said anything. And that was literally the only real issue I had with them. And I didn't join their guild or anything because I told them I wanted to trial first. I wanted to check it out, see if I liked it. I did. Good people, nice people, absolutely good people. Just not feeling the raid. It wasn't something I wanted to be part of. And at that point, I was like, man, I'm just gonna quit. I was like, there's no point in playing the game anymore. I can't find a guild that isn't full of like carrying toxic bullshit at my progression level. It's like if I join a hardcore guild, then I have to play hardcore, and I don't want to do that. If I join a heroic guild, it's full of nothing but carries and drama or married couples running the guild, which I hate too. It almost never ends well for anyone ever. Out there was another guild that I had joined I never raided with them. I joined them for a little while. Actually thankful for this one because they taught me to not join a guild until after you're sure you want to be part of that raid team. They just had this really arrogant player who, I had joined for 5 minutes and he was already bringing up logs and comparing me versus him. It's like, you can't really do that when you have two entirely different raid groups. In my old guild, I was in charge of all these extra hunter jobs because we had a hunter who wasn't assigned anything. But this guy doesn't get assigned to shit, so obviously his damage is going to be higher. Obviously he's going to be able to do a little bit more. So it's like, okay, it is what it is, right? But I had another guy on my friends list that I had talked to a while ago, and he messaged me randomly out of the blue. It's like, hey, did you find a guild? I was like, nope, and I don't really want to. He convinced me to try to trial with them on Tuesday, see if I like it. And I was like, I don't know. My hopes aren't high. I just want you to know that going into this. So tomorrow I'm going to attempt to raid with these guys. Like I said, my hopes are not high, and I don't care. Honestly, after tomorrow, I will just hold off until Burning Crusade servers launch. BC, I know I'll find a good guild. It's so much easier because better players are going to play. Better players, because if you play Classic WoW, the player skill is much higher than it is in retail. Massively massive. Leveling's harder, so the people who are max level, they've actually earned it. And BC was a little bit more fair when it came to classes and stuff. So that's what's going on in WoW. Man, it's exhausting. Finding a guild is it's like the worst part. And right now, guilds are breaking up left and right because of the way Shadowlands gearing is. I mean, you can spend like, I don't even know, like 8 hours in a raid a week, like killing it, and get nothing for it. Get nothing for it. Except you can get like a piece of gear once a week out of a vault box. But most likely, you're going to get better gear out of Mythic Plus anyway. So, who cares? Doesn't even matter. Like, I was all for them reducing the number of pieces of gear that dropped at first. Until you realize that this isn't vanilla WoW, where the game was just fucking easy and it was like, okay, you don't rely on gear. The game isn't easy anymore. It's not like stupid easy like it was in vanilla. It's tough. And you need gear to progress your character. You need it. So, like, honestly, at this point, my druid's like 217 item level or something like that, which was pretty high. I get one piece if I'm lucky a week. One. That's it. And that's why I won't have alts. I won't make more characters. I won't spend more time in that game. I haven't logged into WoW since Thursday. I think Thursday or Friday. I think it was actually Friday. No, I played Friday. I haven't logged on the game in days. And those of you who know World of Warcraft, you typically play every day. I haven't been doing other shit. So I'm not super happy with the game right now. The raid is fucking great, but the reward for doing it, worthless. Makes raiding worthless. You could literally get on, do your 10 Mythic Plus dungeons, log off, and not touch the game for another 6 days, and then get your gear and do it all again, and just do that over and over again. There's no reason to raid. None. Zero. There's nothing for you. The gear in it isn't that much better than dungeon loot. The item level is going to be lower, because unless you're clearing all 10 bosses on Mythic, which I highly doubt, you're getting 225, 224 pieces out of your box, and the raid is giving 213 pieces. For all that time, all those consumables, you're buying flasks and potions and oils and food, all that effort for nothing. I'm not sure what Blizzard was going for this time around, but they did not think this out. But this video is dragging out a little longer than I had anticipated. But yeah, I just not super hopeful. So I've been playing other shit. Obviously, I've been playing Pokemon and some, other PC games. So, alright guys, well, I'll make another vlog here in probably, another 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Give you guys the updates on what's going on. Non-video game stuff, there's not really anything to report. We filed taxes, and that's pretty much it. Everything else is exactly the same. Marcy's going to theme parks. I'm home all the time practicing her quarantine life. So there's not much else to really report. Aiden is back to school, and he's happier there. I sleep less. About it. So, alright guys. Well, I'll catch you guys next week. Take it easy.